Almost all magazine genres have elements in the magazine that the audience expects as they have been used to many times in previous magazines. The conventions of a magazine are things you typically see in the design of the magazine. Typical conventions of my magazine genre, which is pop, on the cover include masthead, cover lines, main image of a popular artist, and many others. Inside the magazine, you would expect to see the contents page with features and page numbers, and the double page spread with a pull quote and main image, usually subjected on another popular artist. When making my magazine, I followed common conventions that I found in style models I researched online. One convention I used in my magazine cover was a masthead. My magazine was called Chord, and I used this as it clearly titles the magazine for the readers. I place the masthead in the center of the page at the top so potential readers can easily see it when it's being displayed in a shop. This is not conventional, as a masthead can be anywhere on the page. My masthead is white, making it stand out against the yellow cover background, which again helps the reader identify my magazine. The font of my masthead, which is called Stantiga, is a sans serif font, which means it's compliant with my house style and is recognizable on every issue. On my magazine front cover, I also used cover lines. They are placed on the cover to entice readers in by saying small snippets of what's inside the magazine. They are very common on real media products, especially pop magazines, and are a good way of getting potential readers to pick up the magazine. My cover lines follow my house style colours by being bright pink, and by doing this the reader will be able to instantly notice my magazine, as they know the colours which are used in every issue. The cover lines do not obscure the main image, they surround it, and so the main image is still able to serve its purpose on the cover. The main part of a conventional magazine cover is the main image. I followed the convention of having a main image by including a large image of a popular young artist on the front. I included this because it makes the reader engage with what is on the magazine and will encourage them to pick it up and read. Other magazines have very popular artists on the front, making fans and people interested in celebrities encouraging them to pick up the magazine. I also superimposed my main image over the masthead of the magazine. This gives the image prominence over the magazine name itself. When making my contents page, I also followed conventions commonly found in pop magazines, such as features and page numbers. I used columns and divided pages of the magazine into categories, which included regulars and features. Regulars are items that appear in the magazine on a regular basis, and features are items that are featuring the magazine issue, which probably won't be in other issues. Each item is headed with a page number so the reader can find the article or item they are looking for. My contents page was written in the same conventional way as others. I had the page numbers and then a few words to describe what the page or article is about. This intrigues the reader into wanting to read the article without giving away the details. On my double page spread, conventions can also be seen. One example of this is a pull quote. Pull quotes are brief quotations taken from the main text of the article featured on the double page spread and are used to get the attention of the reader. They appear on the pages as a subheading or graphic feature. My pull quote was a direct quote from the artist I was interviewing in my article, and it said, "I never dreamed about success, I worked for it." This draws in the attention of the reader to the page, making them want to read the article to find out more. Pull quotes are used on almost every magazine double page spread and spark the reader's attention before they have even started reading the main article. I also used columns to display my article on my double page spread. Columns are used in a magazine to make it easier for the reader to read. One large block of text is harder to comprehend than if it was presented in thinner columns. Another reason for presenting text in columns is that it looks better. Multi-column text is far more attractive to the reader than a large block of text, and the designers can do more creative things with the page. I use columns for these reasons. It will help the reader and look much better in my opinion. Question 2. When planning my magazine, I decided on a target audience. This target audience was teenagers and young adults who are male. Because of this, my magazine is representing this target audience, and I had to make this clear throughout my magazine. My magazine also represents young pop singers who are male. This is done through the articles and cover lines used in the magazine. The first thing I did to achieve this was use actors in the magazine of a similar age to the target audience. This means the reader can identify the intended audience just by looking at the front cover of the magazine. These actors also wore pieces of clothing which are common to my target audience. This clothing included hoodies, jeans, and t-shirts. This again helps reinforce to the reader who the magazine is aimed at. The location used in my magazine pictures also helps influence who reads the magazine. The location I used for the pictures was an old derelict farmhouse and the surrounding fields. I used this location as it was outdoors and the rugged area might appeal more to the male teens who the magazine is aimed at. The pictures and the articles inside of the magazine appeal to the readers as they are interested. The article is of a young upcoming male singer, and young teens might be able to relate to who the story is based on or might seek inspiration from what he has to say. Question 3. NME is a popular music magazine and is distributed by IPC Media. NME focuses on a broad range of music and is available across the UK mainly. Q Magazine is a very popular title and is distributed by a company called Bauer Media, who also allow the magazine to be accessed by 60,000 people. Vibe Magazine is distributed by Intermedia and is available throughout the USA and other parts of the world. Because of this, I would choose Intermedia as they have experience in distributing popular magazines in high volumes, and throughout the development of my magazine, I sourced inspiration from Vibe Magazine. Because they have experience in delivering this service to a large magazine, it would be likely that my magazine could reach a lot of people and become successful very quickly. They would also know how to get the magazine to reach its target audience, again making it more likely for the magazine to succeed. Question 4. When I started planning my magazine, I suggested a target audience I should aim for. I said teenagers. The target audience would be in their teens, 13 to 19, and would be mostly male. I conducted an audience survey and found that 85.7% of people who read music magazines are male. I also found that about 80% were teenagers. For this reason, I decided on a teenage target audience. I focused my survey on my target audience by putting it on a music magazine Reddit page. By looking at all my survey results, I confirmed my target audience would be teenagers who are male. Question 5. Attracting the audience to my magazine was mainly done through the design and wording of the magazine. I used a title that stands out by using bright colours to attract my target audience to pick up and read the magazine. The cover has a large main image and includes features such as a competition opportunity that readers will want to interact with. I also used interesting cover lines that entice a reader to the magazine. They use wording that intrigues the reader about the articles inside the magazine. Also, items in the magazine such as actors, costume, picture location, and articles all help them make the magazine more interesting and appropriate for my target audience to read. Question 6. I used several technologies when making my media product. I used Photoshop as my editing software, which I was familiar with, however I learnt many new ways of doing things while making my magazine. Some of these include using a gradient, forming text around an object, and other ways of cropping. Photoshop made it easy for me to bring all the elements of my magazine together to create a final product. I also used a blog to document the progress of my magazine, which included stages such as planning, research, and making. For this, I used a website called blogger.com, which allowed me to regularly post updates on the progress of my work. I had never written a blog before, so I had to first learn the basics, and by the end I had a firm knowledge on how to use Blogger to support my work. During my research section, I conducted a survey to help me understand my target audience. To present the data, I used graphs, which were made on Excel. I had previously used Excel graphs, but never using this much data. I had many responses to collate, and without the use of Excel, it would have made it very difficult. Question 7. When I completed my summer task, I only had limited knowledge of what should be on the cover of a magazine. I only had other examples to go by. I knew it needed a main image and some wording to entice readers in. I also thought that the contents page only needed exact page numbers to the articles inside. I hadn't done much research into what a magazine needed other than look at examples. I also didn't do any planning. I didn't know what I wanted it to look like before I started. Since the summer task, I have learnt exactly what should be included on the front cover of a magazine by completing research into this area. Elements such as a big, bold masthead and catchy cover lines are some of the elements required to create a successful magazine. I have also learnt that on the contents page, items such as regulars and features are clearly listed down the side, and main articles are given more priority on the page. This is so readers can clearly find the items they are looking for with ease. Also, I had to research and understand the conventional way for a double page spread to be laid out, and use elements that are commonly found on the double page spread. My summer task was very basic. On the cover, I had one large main image and a large masthead at the top. I also had two cover lines down the side with basic wording to try and attract readers. In the top corner, I included the beginnings of a puff. It was a sub-image placed in an oval to make it stand out. My contents page was also very basic. It included a list of pages and what was included on them. I also had four images which didn't relate to any of the articles down the side. I feel I've learnt a lot from the preliminary task. I have completed a research section on the working features of a magazine and have included them on my final product. The magazine is planned around the reader and makes sure they feel they need to read the magazine. All the pages have the correct conventions regularly seen on popular magazines, and it follows a house style including colours and fonts all the way through. This helps the reader see familiarity when reading different issues and makes the magazine identifiable. Overall, I can see a large improvement between my preliminary task and my final product. All the elements have come together to create the final product, and the research and planning put in has helped achieve this.